Hi everybody, welcome to the OAG RC. I am Craig. We are getting started on our Durga build, our DB01. However, you know you're in for a serious treat when the kit comes with a race settings sheet. Not entirely sure we're going to need that around the Orchard Raceway. Now, the first thing that I am going to do is I'm going to tap all the holes on the chassis. And to do that, move some of this stuff out of the way, I've got myself a Tamiya thread forming tap and one of these little hand devices that allows you to put the various screw holes in here and tap them out so they're ready to take the screws. So I'm going to get on and do that, and we'll take a look at how easy that process really is. So there we go, we've sorted all of our parts out into these little trays. So there's no bags for this one, just all the parts go in and you find the bits and pieces that you need during the build. It does give me a little bit of uneasiness, but we're going to go with it. Well, I'm going to get started. So what I'll do is I'll pause on along the way and show you the interesting things. I'll show you everything, and let's get this DB01 built. There we go, all built, all ready, the Tamiya Durga. What can I say about the build of this particular buggy? Well, it's not difficult as long as you follow the instructions. You do have to be careful though. The screws are a little bit difficult to get in, so you do need to watch those. I tapped some of the ones on the chassis, and I'm glad I did that because it was a little bit tricky at times. The wheels are bizarre. So these front ones are held on by hexes, but they're like super thin. They're probably half the thickness of a normal hex on a front wheel. And I think I've already sort of stripped this front one a little bit because it's not as tight as this side. And when I took it off, I can already see I've messed it up basically. Now I do have a spare set of these fronts. So if it doesn't work out, and if it's not really working, I can take that off and replace it. It's not a problem. The back ones are held on with pins. So there's like a slot that goes through and there's a pin that goes in. And I'm not convinced by it really, but it is what it is at the moment. I've got a funny bulge, no pun intended. I've got a funny bulge where the motor's gone in. So you can see under there the motor wires are sitting a bit too close to the body. And I wasn't able to put supposed to put some sponge on the underside of there, and I couldn't get the sponge in, so that was a little bit annoying. And you're supposed to Velcro the front of this down against the body, and I couldn't get that to work, so I haven't done that either. So that was a bit of a mess. And the body's not sitting straight. You see how it's all sort of a little bit crooked? Yeah. I did the wing sort of massive at the back. It looks a bit ridiculous really with it on, but then it just looks like you've got a really super aggressive wing on. I kind of wish I'd taken the top layer off of that now, but oh well, you know, it is what it is for this one. Not going to worry too much about it. Suspension's really, really nice. If you drop it down on the bench, really quite slick, to be honest. And the drivetrain's really smooth. The only thing I'm not convinced about is the brushless motor that I've put in there. I've put a 15.5 ton brushless Tamiya, and it just doesn't feel particularly fast. I have had a little shakedown. The car is very nice. It handles really slick. I think this is going to be quite the car to drive. But I am not convinced it's going to do the right thing in terms of a boss battle for the first year. But we're going to do it anyway, because we've done it now. So that is a standard stock Tamiya Durga. I enjoyed it. Not one of my favourite builds, but I did enjoy it. But I'll tell you what, you cannot beat a belt drive transmission system. Just feels so good and it feels so smooth. One thing that concerns me, the diffs front and back. I had to rebuild them because I hadn't, for some reason I just got it cocked up in the original build. They're not easy to get into. You have to take quite a lot of the body apart to be able to access the diffs. But also in there is all the tightening system for the belts. So if the belts go loose, you have to take the whole thing apart to tighten up the belts again. The reason I built this stock is, well, I actually have another one of these that's got an absolute host of hop-ups on. And the reason I've got that is because in the future, if this doesn't work out, then I can build one that's probably pretty close to an R or an RR spec. I haven't quite worked out, but it's pretty good, and it's got the different body shell on it. It's got these, I think it's the Boldra body shell, which is slightly different to the Durga one. There you go. Tamiya DB01 in the Orchard Raceway fleet, ready to go against this season's champion when it finally gets decided. But we've got a little bit longer to wait for that. Keep an eye on the channel. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all real soon on the OAG RC. Bye for now.